If you've ever heard the phrase, "home is where the heart is," then you know how important a house is. Your home is supposed to be the safest place on earth. There's a reason why they say, "home sweet home." But what happens when someone violates that sacred space? What happens when a home becomes a battleground, a tomb, or worse, a nightmare? Welcome back, I'm here. And today we will be taking a chilling journey into the dark side of human experience. We will be exploring 3 terrifying home invasion stories that will leave you questioning the very essence of security. Each story is a testament to the strength of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable terror. But be warned, these tales are not for the faint of heart. Brace yourself for heart-wrenching moments that will stay with you long after the stories are over. If you're ready to confront your deepest fears, let's begin our countdown. Starting off our list at number 3, we have the break-in that knew too much. In the quiet suburbs where streets wore names instead of numbers, there stood a house with a picket fence and a porch swing. It was a picture of suburban bliss until one fateful weekend when the peace was shattered. Alex, a 17-year-old high school student, was home alone. His parents were away for the weekend, leaving him in charge. It was Friday evening, and he was enjoying some video games. The silence of the empty house was comforting until a noise broke the quiet, the garage door. His heart skipped a beat. Only his father knew the code. Was this just a late-night craving for snacks? The thought seemed plausible until he saw 2 figures emerge from the garage. They were masked. Alex froze. This was no time for pranks. He watched in horror as they moved through his house, rummaging through drawers and cabinets as if they lived there. Then he saw them pull out boxes filled with his grandmother's jewelry, her wedding set, pearl necklaces, even her collection of antique brooches. What was going on? Had they known his grandmother? Had they targeted the house because of her? But why? Just as Alex contemplated ways to escape, one of the intruders noticed him. "Hey you," one of them shouted, pointing a finger at Alex. "Get over here." Alex froze, his mind racing. How did they know he was there? Had they been watching the house? His legs felt heavy. As he approached them, his eyes darting around the room for an escape, a weapon, anything, but there was nothing. These guys meant business. His parents must have received threats. Maybe they knew something about the neighborhood, something he didn't. He had to know more. But before he could utter a word, the attacker shoved him to the ground. The world spun, blurring the edges of his vision. The last thing he remembered was the sharp sting of pain as his head hit the floor. Everything went black. When Alex regained consciousness, he was on the floor. Disoriented, he sat up, his head pounding. The room was empty. Fear gripped him. Where were they? Had they left? Shaking, he got to his feet and stumbled to the window. The house next door. Heart pounding in his chest, he dialed 911. But as the police arrived, they found no signs of forced entry. No fingerprints, no DNA, nothing that could lead them to the attackers. And to add to the mystery, nothing seemed to be missing. Had he imagined it all? The police report noted it as a possible concussion-induced hallucination. But Alex knew what he had seen. The question was, what should he do now? His parents came back to a traumatized son and an inexplicable crime scene. The police investigation yielded no answers, leaving the family in a bubble of fear and uncertainty. The incident continued to weigh on Alex, turning his once safe haven into a battlefield of fear and paranoia. Sleep became a distant luxury, and every creak of the house echoed with the footsteps of intruders. Memories turned into weapons, piercing his thoughts like shards of glass. He saw the glint of knives in the reflection of the windows, heard whispers in the rustling of leaves outside. The worst part, he couldn't share his terror. No one believed him, or maybe they did but didn't know how to help. At No. 2, we have the phone call trap. Years passed. Alex grew older, yet the specter of that night still lingered. College life offered a temporary distraction, but memories followed him. Therapy helped somewhat, but the scars ran deep. One day, he received a phone call. A calm voice on the other end said, "Hi Alex, I have some important news about your mother. She's been in an accident. Please come to City General Hospital as fast as you can." "It's urgent." Panic shot through him. The voice sounded genuine, concerned. His mother's voice echoed in his head. Could it be? Without hesitation, he left his classes and rushed to the hospital. Upon arrival, the staff looked at him with polite confusion. "Mrs. Carter is not here." "No such accident has occurred," they said. Realization dawned on him. This was a setup. Someone wanted him out of his home. But why? With a sense of foreboding, he drove home. Dread filled his heart as he found the front door wide open. His house was in disarray. Electronics lay smashed, jewelry boxes were overturned. But it wasn't just material things. Personal items, private letters, prescription bottles, they were all strewn about. Whoever did this wanted him to see. To make sure he knew they had invaded every aspect of his life. The police were called. The incident was labeled a burglary, but Alex knew it was more than that. It wasn't just theft. It was personal. It was a violation of the most sacred kind. The realization struck him like a physical blow. That phone call, the urgency, it was all designed to lure him out of the house. Someone had wanted him away, knowing that he would return to find his home ransacked. But who would do such a thing and why? Alex was shaken to his core. The security of his home had been compromised, and with it, his sense of safety. The idea that someone knew him well enough to predict his actions sent chills down his spine. It was as if the person orchestrating this knew him better than he knew himself. And finally, at number 1, we have the man who claimed the house. Years passed and Alex moved on. He got engaged to his college sweetheart Clara, and they began planning their future. They found a charming little home with a garden and a cozy living room. It was perfect, or so they thought. One afternoon, a man knocked on their door. He introduced himself as the previous owner, smiling warmly. He showed them papers, deeds, photographs of him in their house. It was unsettling. Alex and Clara had never met this man. Their landlord had taken care of the sale and transfer. Yet here he was claiming their home. They politely asked him to leave. The man shrugged, seemingly unfazed. He said he'd be back to collect his belongings. They watched him walk away, his smile lingering in their sight. Days passed, but the man kept coming back. He'd stand in their driveway, talking loudly on his phone, laughing, throwing glances at the house. It was eerie. One evening they returned from dinner to a chaotic scene. The man was inside. Drawers were pulled out, clothes lay on the floor, and important papers were missing. Their house was no longer their sanctuary. It was a battleground. The police were called, but by the time they arrived, the man was gone. Their home was violated. The man who claimed their house wasn't a figment of their imagination. They checked the locks. One was broken. The man had a key. Their house was no longer their own. It was a constant struggle between feeling violated and trying to regain control. They changed the locks, reinforced the doors, installed cameras. But even those measures couldn't fully erase the feeling of being watched. Every creak of the floorboard, every shadow cast by the trees outside, became a source of unease. They lived on edge, always wondering when the man might return. These terrifying stories of home invasions serve as chilling reminders of the fragility of our sense of security. From Alex's first harrowing experience to his unsettling encounter with the man who claimed his house, each story peels back a layer of our psyche, revealing the depths of fear that lurk within us. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe so you won't miss any new videos. See you in the next one.